Okay, this is our final day of notes for the Italian Renaissance or the early Renaissance, and we're going to do paintings today. And like I said earlier, the Renaissance actually knew they were in their time period. So we actually have this is the first painting of the Renaissance. We can actually say that. So you have to know this as the beginning of the Renaissance paintings. The artist is Masaccio, which is the name right over here. And then right beneath it is the title, Tribute Money. And recognize that one of the things that you can tell with a Renaissance painting is they have a specific light source. So you'll see shadows, and the shadows will all be on the same side. So the shadows are over here. That means the light source is over here somewhere. Okay, and notice this side of the faces are dark, these sides of the faces are light. They've got a specific light source. The features are also realistic. They are painted in 3D. They look rounded. And there's perspective on there. So we do not have spatial layering anymore, which is when they were stacked up on top of each other. Now we have perspective. So you absolutely have to know this is Renaissance, that those things make up a Renaissance painting, that this is by Masaccio, and the name of it is Tribute Money. Okay, you will definitely have to know this piece. This is called The Birth of Venus, and this is by Botticelli, Sandro Botticelli, who is a man. It's not Sandra, it's Sandro. Okay, it's a Spanish name. This one is a great example of the Renaissance fascination with the human form. Okay, and that they're now showing a lot of motion in their pictures. This is a very famous picture. Also notice that it is not a Christian picture because this is a Roman Venus. Is that Roman god or Greek god? But I don't know which one. But either way, it still shows you that it's not a Christian picture anymore, which is a really big difference. And I know there's some nudity in there. Handle it like the big children that you are. It is a part of classical art. Okay. Da Vinci, we're going to look at a few of his paintings. He is best known as being a painter. He's obviously a Renaissance man. He was an inventor, a scientist, a mathematician as well. And we have hundreds of notebooks full of his inventions and his scientific breakthroughs and all that stuff, but yet he's still known as a painter, more so, which is interesting because he only left us about 12 paintings. He started a whole bunch of paintings, but he didn't finish a lot of them. So this is one that he's finished, a very famous one called Virgin of the Rocks. And one of the things he's really known for is this word right here. I'm going to change our color here so you can see it. Chiaroscuro. Okay, which is the extreme contrast of darks and lights. So you'll notice how dark, like her dress and all these areas back here are, but then the things he wants to focus on are lit up. So her face is really light. The children's faces are very light. Okay, that is, let's see if I can get that to come off. We cannot. So anyway, make sure you know that as Virgin of the Rocks by Leonardo da Vinci. Okay? Chiaroscuro. Make sure you understand what that is. All right. Then this is probably his second most famous painting called The Last Supper. I want you to notice that it's very deteriorated. It has a lot of issues, and that is because it is not a painting in a frame that is hanging on a wall in a museum somewhere. Just so you're aware of that. It is a painting on a wall of a refectory is the word right here, which means like abbey. Place, a convent, place where they have nuns live, basically, because you can see right here, this is a doorway. Okay, this is a concrete wall. They had to, during World War II, much of this abbey was destroyed. They covered this whole wall with sandbags and they saved it. And it's still there today, but it is a fresco. Okay, it's a big fresco, but it's a fresco. All right, so I just make sure you're aware of that. This is called The Last Supper, Leonardo da Vinci. His most famous piece, the Mona Lisa, it is actually a painting of I don't know how to say her name in Spanish, La Gioconda, in Italian it would, and there's all kinds of stories. It's actually a portrait of Da Vinci dressed as a woman. It's a whole bunch of other things. There's all kinds of different things about it. She's also called the woman with no eyebrows because you really can't see her eyebrows in the picture. All kinds of fun stories about this, but just make sure you recognize it. It is Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Okay. All right. The Sistine Chapel, one of the most famous things from the Renaissance. It is in the Vatican City. The whole thing is painted by Michelangelo. So he spent thousands of hours laying on his back on scaffolding with a candle painting these pictures. So that is just crazy to think of. So you'll see there's pictures here, here, and here, all over the place. Okay. This is just a nice view of it. You can see the back wall, which we're going to talk about a lot here in a little bit. Then each one of these individual panels is a different Bible story that he focused on. Yes, there will be some nudity there. Handle it. It is not grotesque in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Okay, so here they are. This is the one we're going to talk about the most because it's the most famous right here. So that's going to be on the next screen. Okay? And this is called The Creation of Adam. Make sure you can name this. This is in the top middle. Oftentimes you'll see this part like as part of a commercial or meant to show different things. They hone in on that one right there. So the creation of man. Okay, then I wanted you to notice here, this is when they were refurbishing or restoring. That was the word I was looking for. The Sistine Chapel. This is the Vatican City in Rome. Sorry, I don't know why I said that again. You already knew that. This is what it looked like after they got it done down here. This is what it looked like before. And then this is where they are working. So there were people in there and they've got that over there and they worked on it and cleaning it up. And it took them 12 years to clean all these things up. And that was years of candle soot, grease, just carbon monoxide, all that stuff. So they cleaned it all up. Okay, this is the back wall. This is called The Last Judgment. And this is probably the second most famous painting of the Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo. Okay. All right, this is by Raphael. We're going to look at two paintings by him and then we'll be done. This is called The School of Athens because Plato, Aristotle, all those are put in here. This is in the Vatican as well. Be aware that they call this a reinterpretation of the Last Supper often because of the way these people are set up with the two in the middle and everybody kind of looking for them, very much like Da Vinci's Last Supper. All right. And then this is also Raphael. And Raphael was known for doing paintings of the Madonna and Child. And he did so many of them that many of them are called the person who commissioned them's Madonna. So this is called the Small Cowper Madonna. So Cowper was the people who commissioned him to paint this, and he would paint them for their homes. And many of these are on like stamps at Christmas time. So if you see a Madonna and Child picture on a stamp at Christmas, it's probably by Raphael. So he was known for doing portraits of Madonna and Child. Make sure you know that because it very well could be in there. In fact, there could be a different portrait of a Madonna and Child from the Italian period. And I'd say, based on what we talked on in class, who would you guess is the person that painted this? And you should guess Raphael. All right. That is the end of your notes on the Italian Renaissance.